Hello? Hello. So I'm just quickly testing the audio. Never done this before. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm actually speaking with Megan and she's gonna send me a text. Yes, I can hear you and it looks good. Thank you, Megan. So, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2019. Hope you guys having a good year so far. And hey Philip, how's it going, man? This is gonna be kind of new for me because I've never done this live at all, and I'm like trying to keep an eye on the chat, and obviously want to keep the talking going so there's no awkward silences and things like that. But yeah, if anyone has any questions while we're going, feel free to send a message. It's probably going to distract the hell out of me. But yeah, that's how it goes in the beginning. Let's get my notes up. Yeah, so basically, I just wanted to begin by sort of saying hello and Happy New Year, and then kind of going over a bit of things that happened in 2018. Like what happened in the year, sort of with work and photography and video and things like that. And then I've got a few other things to chat about, and yeah, just going to take it from there. So let's begin. I'm going to basically switch over to this next screen. So this will be the first test. Okay. Let's see. Can you see my Instagram feed? No. Transition. This is a good thing when you have 3 people on here at the moment, because it's supposed to be an Instagram feed on the background that we can see. Just not sure why it's not working. I think this is one of those live stream things, right? You never get a live stream without some kind of technical issue. Just hold on 1 second and I'm gonna see if I can figure this out. This is where you must cue the elevator music. Window capture. Okay, I'm not going to struggle with this too long because it's going to be super annoying to watch. So let's just make me full again. And I'm just going to talk about basically what happened. I won't be showing any pictures then. Okay, so we've got full screen again. Let's go. So yeah, let's take the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, I was here in Panama City. At that stage, like Megan was in Vietnam. If you don't know who Megan is, Megan's my wife. Been married for, I think, 4 years. I think maybe 5 years this year. I can't remember. 2014, we got married. And yeah, I was in Panama City. I didn't have sort of a clue how I was going to make things work in this year. It was an interesting experience because this sort of going into a complete unknown. I hadn't planned to be in Panama. I was supposed to be on a bicycle trip, but then because it didn't work out with Charlie, who's my dog, we decided to stay in Panama, and I couldn't get to Vietnam at that stage, so I was sort of just gonna sort of accept the present and take it from there. So I'd been switching back over to work mode, away from the bicycle mode, and yeah. Beginning of the year, I did sort of like a lifestyle and fitness shoot, and that was quite a cool experience. After that, I was trying to figure out sort of like what was next, and then I got a mail from a friend of mine who said that she has a company who wants to do an adventure like mountain bike race. Not sorry, it wasn't a race, it was like a tour across the country of Belize. So that was a super cool opportunity to go and shoot that. It was the first like video or sort of adventure like video project that I did, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out, although I would probably do it pretty differently next time. But it was a super cool like learning experience, and that was kind of the theme of last year was like putting myself out there to learn and not trying to think that I just like know everything and things like that. So yeah, I went to Belize and I shot that. And then when I came back to Panama, I sort of was planning what was next. I hiked up like Panama's highest mountain, sort of to get away from the city a bit. I needed a bit of a break. And after that I got a job in Costa Rica to go shoot a non-profit school to create a fundraiser film for them. It's a school that Megan used to work at before, and then I had kind of done some work with them before, so they asked me back to film a fundraiser like promotional film was the thing. So I was in Costa Rica for the month. After I did that shoot, then I went to Hawaii to shoot a friend's wedding, which was super cool. And it was such a cool experience because it was like a week. And to spend the time with their family and like up until the wedding, I really got to know their family and almost became like part of the family. So it wasn't like going to a random wedding that I didn't know to shoot. Like they were friends of mine, but hadn't met the rest of the family. So that whole week up until the wedding was sort of, it was a really special experience to sort of be included in that way. Got some really cool photos, and it was really like a documentary like style of shooting because of all the behind the scenes and all the days before. So Logan and Jenny, thank you so much for that. After Hawaii, went to Los Angeles because Ironman Oceanside, I was documenting Heather Jackson. I've been sort of like shooting her for the past about 2 years on and off at some of the behind the scenes and some of the races. And after, what did I do after that? Then so the friends of mine in Los Angeles have a company called Campsite Media, and they are sort of like a production company, and I've been sort of the photographer on a lot of the projects that they've been doing video on. So they had 2 really cool projects that they were busy filming, and I got to shoot behind the scenes of that for them, for their website. And it was, I mean, for me, because I've been wanting to get better at the video side of things, and like someone who hasn't been to a film school or anything like that, like everything I learn about photography and video is basically from experience and from YouTube. So to be able to see behind the scenes on like a big production where they were filming a commercial, it was basically for me like attending, very loud truck that's going past. It was for me like attending a masterclass, and I really appreciated that. I had so many questions for them because I had just previously filmed that promotional video in Costa Rica, and with doing interviews with people and trying to get the best sort of content out of them and to get them to say things that I want them to say, but still to keep it authentic. Because of their experience, I just had like so many questions, and I think it was good that I had already been shooting some stuff because of already like shooting things, I had more questions because I knew like what wasn't working, or I had all these questions about like, why is this not coming out how I want it to be? Because you have this idea in your head, right, that like, okay, this is the quality piece that I want to make, and then you watch all these tutorials and you kind of like follow the instructions, but then when you actually go and apply it, it sort of comes out not kind of what you wanted, or a lot worse than what you wanted. But the thing is that you get from it, like from that experience, is the experience. Like, you know now what you would do differently just by doing the one. So it's been super good like lesson for me, I think, to sort of like go out and do things even if I'm not 100% sure how to do it, but like from there I learn. So been able to sort of like shadow them. Even though I was doing behind the scenes photography, I was keeping a super close eye on what they were doing with video and the lighting and all the ways that they do interviews. It was just really, really interesting. After I did the behind the scenes with them, then I went, which was super cool, I went to New York City. This was my first time there. And I went to the school's fundraiser event that they were having in like Manhattan. So that was really cool. And they played the video that I made, which was also really cool to sort of, I don't know, I would be really like stretching the deal about it by saying I had a screening in like New York. I mean, it was really like a laptop plugged into a TV at a cocktail party. But yeah, I'm still like pretty proud of that. And the school got to raise a whole bunch of money, which is the reason, which was the point of the film. But it wasn't exclusively to do with the film that they raised money. They were doing a lot of other like marketing around it, and they had all these things that the kids had made. They were for auction, and I think overall it was a really successful event, and the school did really well. Okay, so I'm like scrolling through my Instagram feed so I can sort of keep track of what happened this year, because it was a little bit crazy. After New York, basically I flew back and I had another shoot with this with a soccer player from LA Galaxy. His name is Jonathan Dos Santos. I've been doing this kind of photography for a few years now, but to be honest, I haven't done that many like athlete profiles and things like that. I've shot a lot of events and sort of action things, but I've never done a high profile athlete. I mean, or anyone who is really well known. And I was, always really used to going on photo shoots and things like that. And the client that I worked for, they hired this huge like mansion in Hollywood Hills, and here I am going to shoot this athlete who plays for LA Galaxy and Mexico. And to be honest, I was pretty nervous about it. I remember on the way in the car, I was like driving to the shoot, and obviously because of LA like traffic, it took a long time to get there. So I had quite a bit of time to sort of like calm my mind and sort of just think of the atmosphere that I want to create when I was doing the shoot. I'm not a very like loud person at shoots. I'm like pretty calm. But yeah, it's that whole thing about sort of you have to be creative at this time. So it was sort of just like getting my mind into a place where I wasn't sort of nervous and things like that, which is obviously hard in this kind of situation. But anyway, overall, the shoot went really well. It was really cool to work with an athlete like him. And the house, obviously, because it was such an amazing place, there were like loads of locations to shoot in, and also having people that were there to help me. So I had guys that were helping me with the lighting and stuff like that. It was super helpful. And there's definitely like a photo shoot in this kind of thing was definitely, it's so much more of a teamwork than when you do sort of individual shoots on your own with people. Like the previous shoots I'd done, it's just me, and I go there and I shoot stuff, and then I send the client the photos. Where this time there's sort of lighting people there, and there's a makeup person, and person doing his clothes and sort of like fixing things in between the shoots. So you actually kind of you can the people are there to help. Like everyone's sort of like chipping in and saying, oh, I mean, I can ask them like, what do you think of the shot? Is it cool? And they can be like, oh, let's move the light a little bit this way. And I mean, at the end of the day, I want to be going in a lot more confidently that I'm 100% how I want to like set up the lights and things like that. But I mean, people are there to help, and I think there's a cool thing about collaborating with other people who are sort of in your team, and you know, other people have good things to offer as well. I'm just gonna quickly jump into the questions here, and you only learn by doing. Yeah, that's very true. Hey, Philip. When you next shoot in South Africa, let's shoot something, dude. That would be super cool. Yeah. I don't know if you know who I am. Phil Black is, but super cool guy. He makes these really funny videos, and like definitely someone who I look up to in the sense of as an example of someone to not, you know, like not take yourself too seriously. He's definitely. If I watch his videos, I definitely get that perspective again of like, you know, lose the ego and just have fun. But yeah, man, let's definitely look at that when I'm back one day. Not sure exactly when that is. It's like I'm in like Panama City at the moment, and we can't close any of these windows. It's too hot in here, so I'm sorry if there's a really loud noise outside. There's some traffic and trucks, and I'm hoping this mic is okay to sort of like catch a bit more of my voice. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, after the shoot with Dos Santos, I went back to South Africa, which was the first time I had been back in 2 years. So it was really nice to see my parents, or to see my mom and my sisters, because my dad's in Asia, he doesn't live there. So I saw my mom and my sisters, that was very nice. And then I was sort of trying to figure out, because the reason I went back as well was my passport was full and I needed to get a new one. So I got that done, home affairs and all that stuff. Super exciting. Then I went to Vietnam. I hadn't seen Megan in like 9 months since then. So it was really cool to see her again. It was really cool to see Megan again. And yeah, sort of like catch up after 9 months. It had been like such a learning 9 months. A lot of sort of like growth had happened. Obviously we had been like keeping in contact on the phone along the time, but to see her again in person is obviously, it's you know, to like rub off on each other's energy is very different to just speaking on the phone. So yeah, that was really cool to catch up with her. What happened then? Yeah, so then I don't know, her and I were sort of exploring different ideas of things we can do. She had been teaching for the last, I think, 4 or 5 years, and it's kind of needing a bit of a break from that. Also because of my work, and I'm like all over the place. She often like misses out. Like she couldn't come to that wedding in Hawaii because of her work commitments. And as a teacher, you can't just take off whenever you want to, and not that you can with all jobs. Oof. Looks like we lost a bit of internet there. Anyway, just get back to what I was saying. Basically, looks like we're losing quite a bit of internet here. Getting all these notifications saying video output low. I'm just gonna carry on. Just let me know if there's anything weird. It's saying the stream health is pretty bad. So anyway, so Megan's decided to begin her own business with online marketing with Pinterest, and like that's been going really well. In Vietnam, we sort of played with all these different like creative ideas. we began this YouTube channel for like English teaching, and I edited like the whole alphabet, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but like it was 26 videos, right? There's 26 letters in the alphabet, I think. 24, 26. It was like 26 videos, not that long, about I think 2 to 3 minutes, but actually like I learned like so much in editing those 20 videos and filming them. We haven't really carried on with the channel after the alphabet. I think we're both pretty exhausted after doing it, but like learned like so much out of that as well. Yeah, and it was kind of just like this exploration like stage, playing with all these different ideas, and I don't know, it was just like an exploring kind of thing. So then after that, Megan's contract was finished, and we went to visit my dad, who lives in Laos. It's the country next to Vietnam, and we decided to take a motorbike over, because like buying a motorbike and driving it to Laos cost the same price as our flight. So if you have the time, that is definitely a much better way of doing it. So we drove the motorbike to Laos for about 3 weeks. I made a video about that, which was also fun to do. And then I got to see my dad again after I think my 2 or 3 years. About the like bigger thing about that sort of like visiting him was I got to meet my brother for the first time. Half brother, but it's your brother, right? And he's like, I think he's now like 5 years old or 6 years old, and this is the first time that I've met him. So that was a super cool experience, and to sort of spend some time with him. I'd spoken with him over Skype, but like as a kid, it's very different when you're in person. Things are very different. So yeah, I got to meet my brother. His name's Christopher. Loves to run, loads of energy, loves to play Lego, loves anything to do with army. Actually got a really cool photo like from my dad that he took of me and Christopher like flying the drone. But yeah, anyway, that was a really like special experience, and yeah, really cool. After that, Megan and I decided to go hike in like Nepal. We actually got this like random out of the blue job in Laos from a friend of my dad's. She gave us some like freelancing work, and that money that we made from that was enough to like get us to Nepal and hike Annapurna, which was super cool. There was sort of things that were happening during that time though, was with Megan's work, she was starting to really pick up, and we were doing these things like riding a motorbike across Laos and doing Annapurna, and it kind of started to clash a little bit, because her work was beginning to like snowball, but now we were sort of going to these places that are like you have to be offline. So what we basically decided to do, or what she decided to do, was let's do these trips while we're here, and she'll still keep doing the work on the side, but keep like most of the sort of effort for after we're done, and then sort of like put all her effort into it. So yeah, so we did the Nepal trip, which has been something I've wanted to do for I don't know, years, and yeah, super cool experience offline for like almost 2 weeks, and hiking the Himalayas. It was like amazing. That there's a really special, I don't know, energy there, and yeah, I just really love that place. I have to work out somehow how to go back every year. Yeah, so after Nepal, basically we came back to Panama to get Charlie, because that's where our dog is. And my friends who've been looking after her were going away on holiday for a month, so we came back here to look after their dogs and Charlie while they go away. So that's kind of where we are right now. And like Megan's business is like really going very well. Yo, it's really loud out here, I'm so sorry. But like basically, so I mean, with my work was I did client work probably the first half of the year, and the second half of the year when I was in Vietnam, it's kind of a tricky spot to be in to do client work. So I didn't really get much done. So we worked on our own like personal projects, and I always sort of see my off time from client work as opportunity to like practice things or learn some more. And yeah, and coming into 2019, I do like a new year. I know if you really want to make change, you can make it from any day, which is 100% true. Like if I want to all of a sudden become fit and have a six-pack or something like that, you know, there's no reason why you can't start on any time of the year. If you're only waiting for the beginning of the year, then, you know, it's probably not a real like commitment that you actually are doing. But I like the beginning of the year, just in the sense of there's like it's just like a time to like take stock of things and look at where you are again, which you can do anytime, I know, but I do like use that time to think, and I suppose because it's a bit slower with work, so I do have more time to do stuff like that. But yeah, so just thinking of like how I want to go into 2019, or what I like, how are things going in my life, and yeah. So 2019 for me, I want to do things that are sort of, I mean, I kind of always do it to keep myself out of a comfort zone, because that's, you know, that's where real like learning happens. Normally you don't learn that much in your comfort zone, other than like you don't learn so much in your comfort zone. So I definitely want to look at things that are out of my comfort zone, and this is exactly why I'm doing something like this right now, which is completely out of my comfort zone. Luckily I've only got 2 or 3 people that are witnessing this, but I can still make it live afterwards, which is the plan. I think the thing for me is that I have like a stutter, a speech thing. It's really mean that they began that word like with an S, because even like usually words with S's are hard for someone to say who stutters. So if someone asks me like, why aren't you saying that properly, and I have to try and explain now that I have a stutter, sometimes that word is even hard to say. So anyway, so because I've sort of had that my whole life, I've like noticed it's weird. Obviously when you are growing up, it's not something that you're aware of, but when you start going to school, then other kids like make you aware of that. and then you know, it's obviously something very easily to be self-conscious of. And yeah, like I don't feel I'm actually a shy I don't feel like I'm a shy person, but I do like notice that because of having a stutter, I end up doing things that say I wouldn't usually do. Like if we are meeting new people, it's very difficult for me to go up and introduce myself, but not because of a confidence thing. Like I want to do it, but there's this like physical manifestation of something that like stops me from doing it, or at least makes it very scary to do. So sorry, my phone's going off. Yeah, so it's kind of something that I've sort of got to a point where I've had enough of the fact that that is bothering me, because I feel like I don't say things that I might want to say, or I suppose on the side of listening, I've become a very good listener, because I don't often like say things when I might want to, which also makes you really think about things that which really makes you think about things that you would say. So and also the interesting thing about having a stutter is that you have this you have like a thesaurus in your head, because it's weird. If I think of the sentence that I'm about to say, I can sometimes pick up the word within the sentence before I say it that I know I'm going to have a problem saying. So, like, during the time that I'm saying the sentence, I'm already thinking about, like, what is another word that I can say in place of that word. Which obviously makes some conversations like a complete anxiety attack. And it's all because, you know, I'm trying to hide it, or I'm trying to, like, not show that this happens sometimes. But yeah, I think I've kind of had, like, enough of doing that. So yeah, I suppose the best thing to do is just to I suppose, you know, for other people it's in different things. Maybe they're like, don't like, I don't know, maybe they've got like only like 4 fingers on one hand, and it's basically like I was living my life trying to attach that like 5th finger on so that no one would notice, instead of just saying, hey, I've only got like 4 fingers. So yeah, I think this is sort of the start of that. I've made other videos before on YouTube when I've like pre-recorded them, because then I can obviously edit it out and I can like re-say things in all different ways. But yeah, with a live, obviously there's nothing you can do. So I want to do one of these maybe like once a month. Obviously it's not going to be as long and drawn out as this one, but I'm just going to start doing it, and you know, if it happens, it happens. There's things just for interest that I used to go to like speech therapy as a kid, that it never seemed to really work. You know, obviously people do have a much worse stutter than I do. But I suppose you know, I've got good at hiding it, or not saying things that I don't want to say, or not putting myself in situations that it might come up because I'm nervous and things like that. So anyway, long story short, I'm gonna sort of embrace it or accept it, if that's the word. I don't really know. But I just feel like I have too many things that I want to say, and I don't want like this whole like preventing myself to be myself. I mean, it's like I'm 31 now. It's a bit ridiculous that I'm still doing that. So out of my comfort zone is a theme that I want to do in this year again, which I usually do, but this is sort of taking it to the next level for me. One is obviously the speech thing, which hopefully, I mean, I didn't feel like I would actually be that bad at speaking, but I'm like probably out of practice because I don't speak so much. So then yeah, so that's the one thing. Then okay, so as far as the work side of things go, or the filmmaking, like it's something I've really wanted to get. It's something that let's put it this way, it's something that I enjoy doing. I used to make these little videos when I was in high school and like mess around with it, and it's something that has always been this interest. Even though I've done mostly photography, the video side of things has been like really something that I'm interested in making, and telling like stories that are specific theme or something like that. So this year it's definitely a big thing that I want to like really like I want to really put energy into the development of my filmmaking skills. So and that obviously comes from like practice, and then like being around people who are better than me at doing it, so I can learn from them and things like that. So I'm sort of going to be like setting I want to make a couple of different kind of videos every month, like provided I'm not too busy with other work. But I think the ideas that I have, I'm going to be able to do them anyway. So the plan is to do, well, the one thing is to do this kind of live video every month, which I just sort of want to do a recap over the month and maybe speak about things that I learned. And then I want to make like short character films. So it will be like, for example, the guy that we stay with, his name is Umberto, and he's a dog walker from Colombia. And he has a really interesting outlook on life, and sort of like lessons that he's learned from the dogs, and I think they'll make a cool like short video, say about under 5 minutes. So, and also because I do travel a lot, I meet interesting people or at least people who I find very interesting, and so I want to make these little like character pieces on people, and the idea is to make like one a month, and character pieces, these YouTube lives, and then I want to do maybe like a tutorial or a gear like review about things or about something that I've learned throughout that month. So I definitely am not so much I'm not like obsessed with equipment and all these YouTube channels which do all these like gear reviews, but it's more about like practicing a specific format that I can apply in different other scenarios, or at least it's practice for me to be speaking on camera. So those are the 3 things that I want to do. And yeah, that's kind of my year as well. Out of my comfort zone, practicing filmmaking, and obviously there's like work, specific like work goals that I have. Like I want to shoot a lot of more underwater photography, especially of the swimming. I really love that. There's some gear I'll need for that, and I think with my work situation, the main thing that I want to do is to create more of a consistent income, because for example last year I like worked half the year, and the second half of the year I didn't really work, and that can be like financially tough, because the first 6 months I basically need to make sure I make enough to cover for the rest of the year. I definitely want to be more consistent with my like client work, and yeah, just in general, just not being scared to just be myself. I know that sounds dumb, maybe. I mean, it's such a cliche, right? Just be yourself, and like in a lot of ways I really am, but I just feel like I live a very like I express a very like diluted version of myself, and I don't think that's very fair on me. So I think we end it here. Thank you so much for listening in. Hey, thanks Philip for your comments. It'd be super cool to meet up in South Africa. I think I might have a job in South Africa in the next month. So I might be in South Africa in the next month or so for about 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, like let me know, that'll be fun. Always keen to meet up with people. Oh, there's kind of one more thing that I missed out, was that with like social media and how it works, I kind of like mentioned this a little bit in another video, that it's very easy to sort of go down this path about it's all about me, and like I'm trying to grow a following, and what can I make that people can see me and things like that. And I really want to, because I'm like traveling a lot, I think I kind of miss having a base of like friends that I hang out with a lot, and maybe this is a cool way to sort of like keep in touch with people and sort of like connect over the internet, but in a little bit more personal way than Instagram and things like that. So yeah, I don't know, I'll see how it goes, but don't forget, I'm a real human being, so feel free to reach out to me anytime. And yeah, all the best for the new year for you guys, and I think I'm gonna sign off. See you next time. Bye.